about whether it's going to talk about my latest projects or just overall. So I decided to talk about overall photography in general, of the type of stuff that I do. Now, I do more than people, obviously. This is at the Hawthorne, which is in West Philadelphia. The building is possibly going to rehab. There's a lot of history behind that building. Count Basie's played there, Miles Davis has played there, yet it's a totally desolate place. I mean,
where's that located?
it's right on 57th Street, right down the street from Drexel. It's right in that little area there that a lot of major development is going to happen because Drexel's pushing north.
You said 57?
I think it's 50. No, I'm sorry, 43rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Trying
sorry.
to get a
Near Lancaster. Right now, it's an amazing space in the sense that it really lends itself to how I do my work. I primarily try to focus in on subjects that are interesting, that are approachable by just about anybody across the board. I have this passion for light, but at the same time, I don't want it to be something that people are like, so why the hell did you photograph that? I try to be as open as possible and make my work as approachable as possible. This piece, I just love the light and what's happening in the window there. Yeah, actually, the place where it was too many transition, it was a place for a sect for a while there. Then some other group moved in, so you can actually see different layers because they left all their remnants there. And one time, Hidden City came through and they did art installation. So that art installation is still there. I didn't include that in the picture. I just just brought a whole variety of images. But this was one of their art installations. But the chair and table and the band on the side was already there. They just kind of added the tub in there, some light in there.
Gorgeous picture.
This is one of the images from a fog series. Once again, I want that approachability. I want people to identify with the image themselves. There's an incredible French photographer that did this amazing image in south of France, and when I saw this, I immediately thought about it. It's the same thing on different more trees, but it was an opportunity to actually take this image, and this is actually in Fairmount Park, right above Belmont Plateau. There's a road back there rarely traveled by a lot of people, but it's beautiful tennis courts. But the thing is, it's a soccer field on the side there with lots of soccer, but
And horse training.
yeah,
You were shot movies.
amazing space, amazing area. It's a space you can walk for miles and not see a car.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just right in Fairmount Park. Part of the reason why I like Fairmount Park.
They're gonna fix that.
Now, this image itself, once again, it goes back to that approachability. This is something totally accessible, but not Philadelphia is doing new to exist. That's the Delaware River shooting south, right from, I would say, up above the casino. There's a park there
That's right.
that rarely anybody goes into. It's beautifully manicured. Right behind is a coal station where they used to bring coal for the power plant. That's still sitting back there. But you can literally walk right into the Delaware River. No, nothing to scare. But what I like about this particular image is, one, as you all know, I have this pack. I hate white skies, so you're going to get clouds over one of my images. But that whole approachability, that whole idea that this is someplace that you can go and you can see the same exact thing. The only difference is I caught it in this particular time and space.
Was that image, is there any solarization or anything going
Nope.
on with that? That's a straight shot, right?
No, it's not straight. Well, let me. You kind of bring up an interesting question because people, I've been criticized the way you process your images. You should be very pure. Well, anybody that tells me that they're a pure photographer and don't process, they're fooling themselves. Because as soon as you put it in a little larger, as soon as you get that thing processed anyway, you've already manipulated the image. My background is darkroom photography, so I'm looking to pull the most out of that image or my vision out of that image. rarely I will do straight photography because because in many cases I will see a certain way a light is hitting a person that's not you can't translate it by just doing straight photography because there's too many variables. This is a good example. This is an impossible photograph to take. Okay, if you look right over here, that is the Kelly Drive, right, that big curve. There's the Baltimore train trestle, and if you can see the rest of the image, you can actually see the Comcast Center further down. Why that's impossible is that first of all, there's no lens that wide that actually get that entire shot. Second of all, the skies are constantly moving. So what I've done here, that you're looking at a amalgamation about 45 images all combined into an HDR image, which is a high dynamic image. Then on top of that, to bring out the sky, the texture of the sky the way I want to do, I had to go over and darken the sky. The exposure is impossible. You see, you're going to lose something. The way I do it, I get everything that I see in that image. So in many ways, the camera is not like a human eye. The human eye is much more developed. You can probably go and look at and see this screen from the sky. But the camera itself and the technology does not have the capability of capturing this in one single image. So like I said, I can go take this picture, it wouldn't be as interesting.
I thought it was a fisheye actually for the first second I saw it.
It is a fisheye.
Ah.
But the thing is that it's such a wide angle
Yeah, I know.
that I had a boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom, boom. And this is what you came up. I have like variations. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go back and photograph it again because this scene keeps on changing. The sunset, the bridge becomes yellow. The sky gets this incredible, beautiful blue. But at the same time, you gotta wait for the clouds to get something interesting, visually interesting in there. But this is right at the pumping station, right?
Yeah.
So actually, I'm almost not that far from that bridge.
Right, I understand. So I think from visual interest, that's one of my keynote themes too. And I think if your image is interesting, who cares how you got there? It's like, it either works or it
Well,
doesn't.
what is I'm going to tell the photographer to get this whole arch of cut. Oh, you're violating. I have look. I know my photography history.
I was going to say PHM.
That's right. I would say, you know something? You ever heard of Ansel Adams? Ansel Adams manipulated every one of his images.
And long before Ansel Adams, right at the very beginning, like, at PH Emerson, they wanted to put a cloud in. He took a picture of clouds and exposed for that, and then overlaid it onto the negative,
Yeah.
and they did that from way back then.
Photographers been doing this. Any darkroom photographer has been doing manipulation forever. There's I just read an article about, they would say, the iconic images throughout history. One of the ones that really caught my eye was this picture of James Dean. I'm assuming everybody knew who James Dean was. Okay. He's in Times Square, okay? He's walking down, it's raining, he's down like this. The photographer did 4 exposures. He had to do 4 exposures. One, when you look at the image, the buildings in the back, okay, are just softened. The first image, buildings were really just drew the eye in. So what they did in darkroom, and they showed us how they masked it all out. They dodged the areas up, brought the contrast up on him. The sky, they actually added clouds, all these visual interest things to get an iconic image. All right? And it was a whole list of these images that we look at as these icon images. The image of the little girl in Afghanistan that was on the cover of National Geographic. Okay, that's not a straight photograph. First of all, her eyes are way too blue for the amount of light. There was not a lot of light in there, so he had to go in and actually dodge dodge it a little bit to get her face come out a little better, and also dodge the eyes, and also add. I'm not going to go into a whole technical thing, but he actually made the eyes bluer than they actually were. to actually get visual interest and make you feel connected to this individual. The eyes is the soul for every, of a subject. Just as much as this, now you can see the version up here, it's kind of washed up here, but it's a lot more brighter down here. But when you look at the original image, that big little hump there, which is the hill, is extremely luscious. So it draws you right in there. Then your eye can go to either side and actually just explore it. So I go into my images. This particular one right here, which is like one of my favorite ones that I'm getting a lot of attention for. This gentleman lives down in Lower Germantown. We were on one of our photo walks, and he was sitting on his porch, and the whole crew of people just got into a whole conversation with him. He was so animated about voting and civil rights, and I mean, he was like this historian person that just sitting on his porch. He's been through it all. Okay? And I thought right in there, this is the moment where this says more about him than anything else, because he was animated. He's showing that he has a little bit of passion there.
Mm. Yeah. Great.
And then you got Obama right on the side there. And at that point he was talking about how important it was to vote. Yes.
The interesting thing about that picture is that everybody, almost everybody that was on that walk, have a version of that shot.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I wanted to mention about this, there was a Pulitzer Prize picture, and I'm trying to think of the guy who actually took it, and it was two photographers. It was a Viet Cong captain that was being shot
Yeah.
in the square.
Mm-hmm.
Two guys took that picture, one from one angle and from the Associated Press. He took it and turned it in,
Mm-hmm.
and it became a Pulitzer Prize. But when you put both of those pictures up the same, they were basically the same. It's just the positioning.
Yeah.
Now I have that same shot
Mm-hmm.
in about 5 angles where I shot it from the left while you were shooting it from the porch. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
something, this is all part of it, because I did multiple images. There's also images of the person he's talking to and the reaction that person was having.
Right,
But I like this one more than anything else because that's how I remember him.
right.
How animated
Oh, he was very
great.
animated.
Matter of fact, I gave you a copy of it.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is a little bit more my artsy side. Once again, I'm one of these people that kind of just explore. I mean, if you see me walking around, I can go out for an entire day and not shoot a thing because I didn't see anything worthwhile I was interested in. This was actually regatta. Before, when they set the regatta, they go down several days before and set up all the tents. And I thought the tent city was really kind of neat looking, particularly at sunset. It took on like this almost mystical feel about it. As you can see, one had a little glow popping up on the side there. And I just thought it was extremely visually interesting. So really, not just being approached, but also visually interesting on my part here. I mean, plenty of times we don't get what I shoot. I understand that I'm human, I can't be perfect. But the thing is that at least they attempt to understand what I'm shooting. And like I said, this is more just a visual design type of look. Now we're kind of getting some more recent stuff. See Osiris up there. Whoops. Oh, no, too late. Back. Up. Too fast. Okay. Oh, let me go back to this one. This is one I want to go back to. This one right here. This one, I lost my remote control here. Osiris was actually taken in the red room. We went to the red room, and I didn't enlarge that more because one, I didn't want to bore you a whole bunch of slides. But essentially, that's the red room of Osiris in the room itself, and we were just playing around with it to see what we can come up with, and I really like what I came up with that particular one. The one below it, the other two are actually done from Mummer's Parade, which you guys will see in July, the complete series of that. I have to narrow down from 100, I already narrowed 3,000 images down to 100, and I need to narrow that down further. But the Mummers is a tradition I've been doing for several years. being a Philadelphian, and I've actually got to see the evolution of Mummers Parade. There's still some insensitivity as far as race, but at the same time, I also know some more tolerance in the parade itself. Whether it's their gender, whether a person's gay, black, Chinese, whatever, they now all participate in this parade. And it's not all that, well, it's still the same crowd that goes there to get drunk, and as a matter of fact, you'll see some of the images, some of the interesting images I have. But at the same time, there's one of those subjects that's kind of interests me about Philadelphia that says a lot about the city itself. And you still have that racial bias, sexual bias, but at the same time, this parade has evolved into a very inclusive group. And it really showed up, the image is not here, but it really showed up right after Katrina, where essentially a lot of the musicians from New Orleans came up, and they changed the nature of the parade itself. Because being musicians, they wanted to play. And I said, the Mummers couldn't exactly tell them not to because of their race, but what happened was the whole complexion of the parade changed. You had brass bands there, you had kids from North Philadelphia now parading out there. Matter of fact, I have this wonderful image. I'm not going to tease you right now so you can come to the show. But at the same time, it is changing. The last one, they had drag queens and transsexuals and people who were openly gay lead the parade. Right behind the mayor, it was an amazing image. This drag queen wanted to kiss the mayor. I missed that image. But it was 7:30 in the morning. I was warming up. So. But the thing is,
we were already cooking, huh?
oh yeah, already cooking. But the thing is,
I have
sure.
somebody that lives in my building that
Mhm.
has played him and his brass, the other harp played.
oh yeah, it's become extremely
Like
open.
20, in their early 20s.
Yes.
They said on it, because I'm one of them lazy people, I get up in the morning and put it on, and I look at it all day.
Mm-hmm.
But during the announcements, what they said was that they are now hiring New Orleans bands to play with some of the Mummers groups because of some of the music and the sounds that they wanted to get. And the parade that he's talking about, they did have those groups, playing by themselves or just marching in the parade and playing. So it is becoming a little more inclusive.
And it's also acknowledging the simple fact. I have some images from New Orleans. Mummer Parade and New Orleans could be distant cousins of each other.
Mm.
The only difference in New Orleans probably goes back further. It's
Right.
more of American Indian, African American, slavery, that total integration. So in many ways, the Mummers need to take a nod to New Orleans. Okay, mainly because that culture evolved out, the musical culture evolved out after the Civil War, where essentially there was a ton of musical instruments available, and a lot of them were in New Orleans. And just like anything, nature hates a vacuum, and these people picked it up and that city just became a legendary musical city.
Mm.
At the same time, you had a lot of the Indians down there that were integrated with the slaves. Okay, that's where the feathers and stuff came from, and so it came in combination, and it became more. And for a long time, it was resisted because the French wanted more dignitary European look.
Right.
But the thing is, what happens is the majority roll over. So, but anyway, matter of fact, I'd like to go down to Mardi Gras and shoot some Mardi Gras stuff down there to go along with the Mummer stuff, just to balance it out. Anyway, so you got the brother up there hustling his eagle hats, which you gotta have it going. And every once in a while, you get that Eagles logo up there. And this is some of the stuff from Rust. Matter of fact, the Philadelphia Art Museum rejected me, but I was in the top 20. So, but they were limited how many people, and Mr. Finch told me no. So,
What was
this
Russ?
time, huh?
What was Russ?
Well, Russ was this thing I did with my friend over here, Andy, where essentially he built a building, and we went down into Center City, Philadelphia, and these were actually photographed inside that space.
Okay.
You did, man.
It was?
Yeah.
I just didn't remember what it was.
Yeah, we,
I didn't get a picture of it.
As great as Russ.
I'm sure he got his picture. There's Lenny.
and last but not least, my favorite quote of all times from Minor White, who happened to be another photographer that manipulated his images, but he's also one of the pillars. No matter how slow the film, the spirit will wait for the photographer. That can translate in many different ways for us. The artist in general does painting. I learned this quote, I kind of live by this quote because I will go to a spot and think I see an image there, and I will wait till it, do the research and find out when the lighting is perfect before I do anything, or I do research on the spot. So that is me.